Welcome to Lock N Load Podcast. My name is Josh, where we talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. So today, my topic is pistol permit classes and why not every pistol permit class is the same. So there's definitely some curriculum differences. We'll start off there. So instructors in the state of Connecticut can use a variety of different curriculums. They can use their own curriculum that's been approved by the Special Licensing and Firearms Unit. They could use NRA curriculum, or they could use USCCA curriculum, or any other, approved curriculum by the state. I'm an NRA instructor. I'm a USCCA instructor. I have some other certifications and they're from other states and stuff, but let's just go with those two right now. I used to teach NRA curriculum for a very long time, and it's okay curriculum. It's basic, the handgun curriculum. And when the state with HB 6667 added the component of having to teach gun law into the curriculum and making it a requirement, the NRA said, nope, we're not changing our curriculum, which that now means I have to go and teach a legal portion outside of approved curriculum, which, I don't know, could possibly open myself up to liability. That's not a good idea. So prior to that, though, I became a USCCA instructor. Now, I know some of you guys have opinions about USCCA and everything, and you know what? You guys can have opinions. That's fine. But we're just talking about the instructor aspect of this. So the instructor aspect is great. It truly is. So I became a USCCA certified instructor, which teaches basic pistol class. That is the curriculum we use here at Lock N Load for various reasons. One of the main reasons is it includes the legality portion to it. So it's built into that curriculum. So it provides me a little bit of liability protection when teaching legal portions as not a lawyer. Two, in my opinion, if you're a visual learner, which people are, there's a little bit better pictures that are on the screen on our PowerPoint. So that's always helpful as well. Now, there's no difference when you apply for your permit, but I did say that not every pistol permit class is the same. So quality of the instructors obviously makes a difference. And then how many people are in a classroom makes a difference, and experience makes a difference. So I'll kind of cover all three of those there. We'll start off with classroom size. So, there's a pretty big company in Connecticut that we'll call them a permit mill, because they do that, cheap special, just call it a cheap special. And they try to jam as many people as they can into a room, and just to pump people in and out of there. And I don't think that's a good way to teach gun safety. You got to have an individual conversation with people. You have to teach people one-on-one. You have to have one-on-one time. You got to have that personal touch connection, especially during live fire. Jamming 30, 40 people into a room for 8 hours, it's just probably not the way to do it. The other thing is having any of the portion online. Having part of this via Zoom, that is horrible. That is absolutely horrendous. Gun safety on a laptop? Maybe you can call me old-fashioned here, but I really feel like gun safety should be an in-person thing, not done on a computer. And there's still instructors that are doing this way past COVID. We're in 2025 here, and there are people that do this all the time. Now, some of you that are watching this, maybe you're an NRA instructor and you're like, oh, the NRA does a blended method. I think the fucking blended method is horrible too. And that's where you do half of it online and half of it in person. I think that's horrible as well. You don't know that person sat through that and did it themselves. You also don't know that the person that you're lecturing to on Zoom is the person showing up when you go to the range. Or, is their camera on? Are they doing anything in the background? Are they even paying attention? Are they listening to you? At least if they're in the classroom here, I can see what they're doing. I can see if they're not paying attention. I can call them out if they're not paying attention. I can see if they're on their phone 24/7. If somebody has to answer a phone call, go answer a phone call. You got to send a text, go send a text. We're not children here. But Um, if you're falling asleep in class, wake up or get out. It's a gun safety class. And we make classes fun and entertaining. But you're still learning how to operate a firearm. So going to the instructor aspect, you should know how to teach. Now, not everyone should be an instructor. Just because you were, and some people are going to feel a certain way when I say this. So, trigger warning. Just because you were a cop or in the military doesn't mean you should teach gun safety. It doesn't. Just like any profession, you need to learn how to do things properly. You need to learn how to teach people. This takes time to go and master and perfect, or at least do decently. Just because you know how to operate a gun doesn't mean you're going to be a good instructor. Just because you go and get NRA or USCCA certified does not mean you're going to be a good instructor. And I know that some people are going to feel a certain way when I post this, or if I make a clip of this. It's not directed at anyone specifically. It really isn't. So if you're feeling a certain way, I'm sorry, but it's just in general. There are plenty of examples, I'm sure, out there, or people out there, where I'm hitting a nail on the head here. So learn from people. That's the simplest thing, is learn how to do this. And is that hard to go and do, or hard to find somebody to maybe, like, I don't know, I'll use the word apprentice on? Yeah, it's definitely going to be. I'm not going to go and, I'm just being honest here from a business standpoint, right? Because I own a business. I'm not going to go and let somebody that is going to be my competition down the road go and learn how to go and be my competition. It's just me. And, maybe I'm an ass for that. I don't know. That's just me, though. I have enough competition in this space. I have people that think they just decide to go 2 minutes down the road this way and go set up a classroom there and run classes out of that, even though they don't even live in this town, and advertise that and run pistol permit classes right there. I was here a long time before you, bud. I live in this town. It annoys me. And to the other instructors that live in town here, by all means, please go advertise your classes, do your classes. That was not a dig at you. I have no problem with anyone that lives in or around here. The person I just mentioned does not live close to here. That's what annoys me. So moving on from that, learn how to teach. Class sizes, kind of going back to that, I skipped one thing. Limit your class sizes to what you can handle. You shouldn't be doing 30, 40 people in a class. Now, we cap our classes. I know what Todd can handle. I know what I can handle by myself. And, back in the day when I first started, I capped out my classes at 5 or 6 people. Then I capped them out at 9 or 10 people. Then now I cap them out by myself, 15, 16 people. If I had a bigger class or needed to do a bigger class for XYZ reason, then we go and get more instructors. So during COVID, I had 30 people in a class. I had 3 instructors, including myself, sometimes 4 instructors, including myself, in a class. So that way you had individual attention for those students. We had a nice little ratio going on. It was depending on the day. The weekends, those Friday, Saturday, Sunday classes, we had 30 students in those classes each day, and we had 3 or 4 instructors depending on the class. We were running 2 lanes at the range, so it was, so we could speed up the range as well. And then on the weekdays, depending if I was doing a class by myself or if I had a helper, would depend on how many students I capped out at. Now, we cap out about 15, 16 if I need to push one more person into the class because I got 16 chairs. And that's about the max. We normally don't go over that, and we're normally under that. Just depends. Sometimes we cap out. It depends on the week. Depends on the weekend. Depends on our advertising. Charging a fair price is probably the other one. You shouldn't be so cheap where you undercut everyone's value. You should value your own time as an instructor. And, you guys, I know, as a consumer, you probably want the best deal, but the cheapest person is probably not the best instructor. And some of you might be thinking, well, basic class is a basic class. Yeah, I get that, but you pay for quality, and you should pay for the experience of the instructors and the reviews of the instructors and the reputation of the instructors or the business, because the cheapest person is not probably doing the best job. And neither is the most expensive person, possibly. I don't know. I know our price ranges, and I know we fall right in the middle. I haven't increased my prices since COVID. We were $125. Our range went up $10. We went up $10 to $135, and we've been at that price since. So it hasn't changed. Would I like to charge more money? Of course I would. I would like to make more money on it. Am I going to? Not at the moment, but insurance keeps going up. Cost of ammo is okay. My instructor, we pay Todd decently. So cost of business, but we're going to try to keep that 135 for a while. I'll reevaluate in the beginning of the year. That's normally when I look at prices and stuff, but I don't think I'm changing anytime soon. But you never know, if the range goes up, then, might have to go up. Who knows? But there are people that charge 150, 160. There's people that charge way more than that too. Then that always kind of shocks me. For a one-on-one class, I charge more money for that as well too. I totally get that. Private classes are private classes. I understand that. But like a public general class is kind of what I'm talking about here. So not every class is the same. Not every instructor is the same. Not every business is in general the same from a permit standpoint. But that is your starting point to get your permit in Connecticut, is by taking an NRA, USCCA, or other state approved curriculum class. So if this is your first time, do some research, find a good instructor. If you're not near the central area of Connecticut and you want a recommendation, because I don't know, you follow us on YouTube or whatever, shoot me a message, and I have other instructors in other part of the states that I can recommend. If you want to take the drive up to us, Lock N Load Firearms, Sellington, Connecticut, lockandloadct.com. We're here. Matt and Michelle, who is not here today, she also does classes as well, about once a month. And then I have some other friends that do classes around the state as well. I got one in the top left corner of Connecticut all the way, and I got one down on 95 in the center of the state, center of 95, that I can recommend as well if you don't want to drive as far. And I have one that speaks Spanish, because I don't speak any Spanish. So, I got to know people. But if you guys have questions on permits, or you guys have questions on other states' permits, we do offer New York City, which is also New York State, Massachusetts, Utah, Florida, Rhode Island, and we're working on New Jersey now. We just had one of our guys get New Jersey, so we're fine-tuning that and getting that going for you guys as well. So if you have questions on those, drop them below or shoot us a message. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you guys have any questions, shoot us a message. Other than that, my name is Josh, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Lock N Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock N Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class, on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock N Load Firearms.
Lock N Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL Podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.